Jodan Sancho has been banished from Manchester United. It's really getting ugly and ugly for Jodan Sancho, and no one saw this coming, but it has gonna hit obviously reach a level that cannot be really taken back to where it deserves to be. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. I'm sorry I'm late for like 10 minutes, but I had lots of stories obviously compiled about Jodan Sancho because it looks like this day is gonna be all about one player, and that is Jodan Sancho, because Jodan Sancho is the talk about town, and we are having very many stories dropping in from Borussia Dortmund coming in to obviously expose Jodan Sancho and obviously the board of Manchester United for going out and doing the stupid to obviously sign in a player whom they had not gone ahead to obviously do what we call a thorough research about him, and now he's affecting everything at Manchester United and disturbing the plan of Erik ten Hag and maybe trying to obviously threaten it and obviously put it down. I would like to welcome Amos Adia, thank you for watching in through. Nachitende Esther, thank you for watching in through. Adiala Chizoba, thank you for watching through. Amos Adia, thank you for watching through. And Diala Chizoba, you are all in and you've been in the live chat waiting for me to come in through. It's always nice having to you guys. Good evening, hope you guys are really doing fine. The match is on and this is the first live I'm gonna have to put out today. I think we are also going to do what we call a match day live. You know that very well. So that match day live is going to happen just an hour to the start of the game as we take on Crystal Palace. I have some quotations coming in from the Crystal Palace manager, that is Roy Hodgson. He has something to say about us as we take on his side on as Crystal Palace. Then we also have a lot to say about Lisandro Martinez. He's pushing to be part of the game that you're going to play against Crystal Palace. He wants to return and obviously put in the shift because we have to defend this cup and so on and so forth. But let's start it off with a big matter in the house, and it's like Erik ten Hag is going to have to emphasize his power at the club of Manchester United, and he's the elephant in the room and winning every battle here. Now, Jodan Sancho has been banished from all first team facilities at Manchester United, including the players' dining area, until he apologizes to boss Erik ten Hag. This is exactly what ten Hag is supposed to do, because if he doesn't do this, then these players won't take him serious. It's high time players got to know that it's not what you are. You know, it's the manager that makes the club what it is, because for a player, he can go, he can be sold somewhere else, but for a manager, he wins the club the trophies. And it's very absurd that when the club is losing, guess who is blamed? Is the manager. The players are not blamed, and the players have never been sacked, you know. And when the team is winning, guess who gets all the flowers and the hails and the louds? It's the money, it's the players, and the manager is not really allowed it. So it shows you that this is time the manager needs to fight for his position and obviously set it straight, that Jodan Sancho needs to obviously know where he falls as a player, and he needs to get banished from the club of Manchester United facilities, because that's what was did to Cristiano Ronaldo when obviously he did that, and very many other players, if at all they misbehave. And if at all you don't meet the code of conduct of Erik ten Hag, you are doomed to really be into the space of the training facilities of the first team. So Jodan Sancho needs to obviously go on his knees, eat the humble pie, and obviously get it where it deserves to be. And this is what elite management is all about. This is elite management at its level, because look at Pep Guardiola. When he fell out with Yaya Toure, he threw him under the bus. When he fell out with João Cancelo, he threw him under the bus. And all these players I'm talking about have been really pivotal to the system of Man City, but he threw them under the bus. Let's go to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, when Mesut Ozil came in through and obviously did what he did, Arteta threw him under the bus. You know, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he threw him under the bus. This is what we call elite management, and these standards are supposed to be high Ahmed is still earning more than the manager because Ten Hag earns close to £200,000 a week and Sancho earns £350,000 a week. That doesn't give you the audacity to obviously undermine the manager. I understand sometimes you obviously do certain things with anger, like the tweet he put out on his X. I understand very well. But he was called and told by John Matter to apologize to Erik Ten Hag and take off that tweet. Do you know what he did? He took down the X, but he never apologized to the manager. Until now, it's coming to a month. Jodan Sancho doesn't want to apologize to Erik Ten Hag. Now, of the two, who is wrong? We now know who is in wrong, because the manager is a person who obviously will come out and put out a statement in the media to obviously test your mind. You know, are you really willing to obviously come back and obviously putting in a shift that is really required to be a player of Manchester United? Guess what Sancho responds with? He never responds with him disapproving Erik Ten Hag wrong at the training ground, but he responds with that X onto his X account. So it shows you exactly where Jodan Sancho lies and where his thoughts are right about now. And then this is a correspondent, by the way, from Manchester United, dropping these stories. He's David McDonald. He continues to let us know that Manchester United sources have submitted that situation between Sancho and Erik Ten Hag has reached an impasse, with no way back for the player until he decides to apologize to his boss. That is it. We all have to admit that Sancho is going to hate to do a mistake. And he has to obviously eat the humble pie. That is it. And there is no way we are obviously going not to take this to the next level if at all we don't discipline players. Now, when you look at Erik Ten Hag, he's having some young talent at his team. Like Hannibal, there is Garnacho, there is Amad Diallo, Facundo Pellistri, name it, Kobe Menu. Now, if Erik Ten Hag welcomes back Jodan Sancho without apologizing, what message will he be sending to Facundo Pellistri, to Amad Diallo, to Kobe Menu, to Hannibal? You get? What message will be he sending to the reserve players of Manchester United, the young team that trains with the club of Manchester United, because they have smartphones and they read this. And when they see to it that a player like Jodan Sancho, with his quality and stature, he has been really penalized to this level, they obviously get to know there is no way out if at all you really mess up with Erik Ten Hag. And I think the message has been sent out clearly that Jodan Sancho is really going to obviously not get back to the team if he doesn't apologize. And I 100% agree with the manager, Erik Ten Hag. There is no way I'm going to obviously not back my manager, because he deserves to be backed. And if at all there is anything that we need to do every time, it's to back the manager of Manchester United, because Van Gaal was not backed, Jose Mourinho was not backed, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer I think was backed and he fell on his own sword. Now, Ralf Rangnick was not backed, and how come Erik Ten Hag is not going to be backed? I think everything is going to be all put in order and things are going to move on as they're supposed to be at the club of Manchester United. So 100% believe this is going to come to an end, and we are obviously going to see the club really settling up. And Sancho, I think, will apologize at point X, because it's up to him and his career, and that ego of him needs to be knocked down. Remember, Ten Hag is a manager who doesn't really deal with egoistic players. Even if you are talented and egoistic, he really throws you under the bus. You remember what he did to Neil Lang, that talented Dutch player who is now a travel merchant, you know, AS Roma, now to PSV and heaven, you know, because he was a very good player at Ajax, but his ego really made him fall out with Erik Ten Hag. Now, David McDonnell, a correspondent for Manchester United for the Daily Mirror and Mirror Football, confirmed to us that Jodan Sancho is also understood to have been late for training on several occasions, according to Manchester United sources, with the player's inflammatory social media post proving the last straw with Erik Ten Hag. Obviously, no player in the world, you know, goes out to obviously make a mistake and doesn't really apologize, because all what he needed was something simple: to say to Erik Ten Hag, I'm sorry, to say to the board, I'm sorry, and obviously say, I'm willing to dance to the tunes of this team, because if he doesn't obviously dance to the tune, then he has to leave the club of Manchester United. And it shows you exactly that. We are even getting sources from Germany that are showing how late Jodan Sancho has been always coming in Borussia Dortmund team. And I think they sold us Jodan Sancho knowing that, all right, this player, we are getting 73 million quid out of him, and obviously maybe we are obviously overcoming a huge problem of a talented player who cannot really manage himself well. And we've seen very many huge players falling out and obviously not reaching their levels of talent because of not being able to manage their talent. And Jodan Sancho has gone ahead to fall a victim of that. And I think it's not too late for him. He's 23. He should burn down his ego and obviously coming through and really do the needful for the club of Manchester United, because reports from Germany are obviously going to continuing to let us know more about how Jodan Sancho is really a very troublesome player and does not rest because he's always playing his PS5. Can you imagine a player at the level of Jodan Sancho? You on your console seated playing game until in the morning, you know, he doesn't get enough rest. Yet this game really needs intensity. So man, it's really one of the worst scenarios that you'll ever want to see a player that you bought 73 million pounds really cost you. But this is something that the board is answerable about. How come they went ahead to obviously never do what we call the due diligence and investigation before they brought in this player at the club of Manchester United? Because they might have gone ahead to know his character, but for them, all they wanted, all they cared about was signing in this English player at this club. So we are into this turmoil because of the board of Manchester United. That is it. Because if they had gone ahead to make some good research about the player would have gone ahead not to come in at Manchester United. But him read at Manchester United brings us to the levels of obviously asking ourselves huge questions and mourning, because we are lacking a right winger, and there is one who is obviously not ready to show up and obviously take the club to the level where it deserves to be. So that is it all coming in from the German sources as far as Jodan Sancho is really concerned. And I want to throw you these tweets onto your screen and obviously get to know exactly what I'm talking about, that it's not a hearsay. It's coming in from Sports Build, and it's coming in from even Borussia Dortmund blog. Can you imagine? So the Borussia Dortmund blog have gone ahead to confirm to us that it remains to be seen whether Borussia Dortmund has a budget for a winter, and a casual plan was to pay fees for players in that. All right, what is the other one? But the biggest problem, according to Borussia Dortmund bosses, is that Sancho sleeps too late and sits at the console and plays until the early hours of the morning. A lifestyle that doesn't fit. Have you heard? That is Jodan Sancho for you. Then, when Sancho was still at Borussia Dortmund, discipline was always a topic of conversation. He often came late for training or flew away for 2 to 3 days after a match. Can you imagine? And how could a club like Manchester United not really know this? How could a club like Manchester United not know this? You know? The player was already messed. You know? And it shows you exactly what Erik ten Hag is carrying at this club. He's having people on his top not obviously doing what they're supposed to do. They are naive at their job. And it looks like Erik ten Hag is the sporting director, he's the technical director, he's the manager, he's the everything, right? That is very, very, very worrisome about this man known as Erik ten Hag. And when you hear this, it really makes me really feel for Erik ten Hag, because he's having a lot of work to do, and the club is obviously piling more shit onto the manager, that is Erik ten Hag. I'm coming into your live chat to obviously read your comments, but I just wanted to get this out of the way, especially concerning Jodan Sancho, and I'm going to come in through and read your live chat messages. Now, we are having the current situation between Jodan Sancho and the coaching staff is still very tense. The only way back is the only way back in Erik ten Hag's eyes for Jodan Sancho is to apologize to him, the rest of the coaches and the players. Ten Hag is calling in for an apology, and I think that is the best way for us to groom this team and take it to the level we want it to be. Then Again, David McDonnell, coming in from Manchester United, a correspondent, has confirmed to us that Jodan Sancho's teammates have urged him to say sorry and end his feud with Erik ten Hag. Players include Rashford, Maguire and Luke Shaw have all pleaded with him to swallow his pride and apologize to the Manchester United manager. So far, the player has gone ahead to refuse. Now, if you are Jodan Sancho and you're doing such shit, then who is obviously going to come in and stand in for you? Because this is stupidity of the highest order. Now, even if you want to go out and play for a different team altogether in January transfer window, I think the best way to do this is face the management, tell it that, please, I apologize to Erik ten Hag, but I want to get a fair share of the game. I'm willing to be really responsive to Erik ten Hag. And secondly, in January, I want to leave. Let me play these games very well. Let me give all my best. I'm not going to break any disciplinary code again. Then I will get myself to where I want to be. In January, put me up for market. I'm going to raise my levels like never before and obviously find a team that takes me, because all what he's doing is putting him into a situation that he's not obviously going to really win. Even other teams that would have been interested in him are going to back out of this because of how he's conducting himself. I don't know whether he believes he's a Ronaldo. I don't think he's a Ronaldo. And if I told he was a Ronaldo, he wouldn't have gone ahead to do this, because he has gone ahead to obviously even terminate his Instagram account. Look at that. He has gone ahead to deactivate it. So it shows you how troubled Sancho is, and Sancho really needs help, because if he reaches this level, remember when Ten Hag sent him to Netherlands, Jodan Sancho went ahead to obviously archive all his posts or delete all his posts on Instagram, you get, and he had something troubling him. Now Jodan Sancho has gone ahead to deactivate his account on Instagram, and there are no posts. That is Jodan Sancho for you. So it shows you that Sancho is troubled, and Ten Hag is willing to help him. Sancho is trying to underlook the manager. That is really weird of a player like Jodan Sancho who needs help coming in from the manager. That is Erik ten Hag. Now, let's start it off with Amos Adia. You told me that, can't these guys sort things over the line? Why are they behaving like cat trying to catch a laser beam from a laser pan? Now, I think the problem is Jodan Sancho. Let's all agree with this. Jodan Sancho is the problem, because for Erik ten Hag, he has genuine reasons as to why this is all happening. Jodan Sancho broke the disciplinary code of Manchester United. He insulted the manager in public, and everything has come out to reach this level. So to me, I believe Sancho needs to apologize to the manager to obviously find himself in a better position possible. Nachitende Esther, but Sancho is for Manchester City, not United. I understand, but when you look at all players that are playing at Manchester United, they might not be fans of Manchester United, right? The ones that can obviously know they support Man United are Marcus Rashford, because he grew up in Manchester. He has been the academy of Manchester United, and he's a born and bred output or product of Manchester United. But for Jodan Sancho, I know he grew up at Manchester City, but you'll never tell, because when someone grows up in Manchester, he can either be supporting Manchester United or any other team. And he was also banished at Man City because of his behaviors. That's why he was sold to Borussia Dortmund when he was just 17 years of age. Then Diala Chizoba, good evening my brother. Amos Adia, the guy would be passing very well to Højlund from that right wing, and Rashford continues to deliver from the left because he doesn't pass the ball. Bad thing with Erik ten Hag, he can't allow people play their game. I know Ten Hag allows people play their game. You know, the modern game is all about not losing the ball. That's what the manager always tell you. If you don't lose the ball, even if you keep it forever, the problem is you losing the ball. That is it. So, and nowadays, the players are so much limited. In every team, let it be Pep Guardiola, he limits you on what to do, because you have to play what we call a role that will help and benefit a team. So that is it all coming in from Erik ten Hag. And I think Sancho would have gone ahead to do a very good job to obviously feed Rasmus Højlund, because Sancho is really good at getting that pass to players like Rasmus Højlund. Depending on the runs that Rasmus Højlund makes into the box of the opponent, it shows you exactly what that is all about. So I think you're right on to Jodan Sancho feeding Rasmus Højlund, but for not allowing him play his game. I think Jodan Sancho has been given all the time at Manchester United to play his game. Then Diala Chizoba, good evening David, I'll be waiting for this live. All right, thank you. Then Amos Adhia, he should be overplayed like Weghorst and let him live in guilt. We can't waste what was spent. A man who calls himself a scapegoat. So for me, Sancho has problems, guys. And if at all anyone is standing in for Sancho, he's really having a problem. Do you know why? Sancho has a chance to play football right now at Manchester United. Do you know why? Antony is injured. Sorry, Antony is still sorting his stuff. He has every chance to prove to Erik ten Hag right that I'm the right player to be playing onto the right wing. That is it. So, as it stands, Sancho is doing himself a disservice, because if he was really caring about himself, he would have gone ahead to come in through and obviously tell the manager, I'm sorry, and he gets back into the team. Matches are here to play, you get? It's time for him to obviously prove himself that I'm really ready to obviously take it to the next level. But Sancho is not willing to do so, meaning that he might have already made up his mind to leave the club of Manchester United and he wants out. Maybe his agent has already secured his next destination and we don't know exactly where he's gonna be. Amos Adia, this guy should leave. This bum doesn't deserve to be in the future of Manchester United. Yeah, because your fair players cannot come out and obviously tell you that apologize. When a player like Rashford and Luke Shaw tell you apologize, you have to, because they have been consistently performing under Erik ten Hag and they are still continuing to perform better, but they are telling you apologize. Marcus Rashford, when he came late for the team prep, for the pre-match against Wolverhampton prep last season away from home, he apologized to Erik ten Hag and ten Hag told him, I'm going to bench you, I'm not going to start because you have gone ahead to break the code. So this is what Sancho needs to know and he needs to put into practice. I'm having Opio Ivan. Good evening, Rokani. Once apologizes to the manager and board, will he be able to get back into the first team? Right. That's the only thing really standing into the way of Jodan Sancho to return to the first team of Manchester United. He just needs to apologize to the team to the board, or not, you know. And let me obviously go into this. Paul, should Sancho apologize? Let me see what your thoughts are. Should Sancho apologize? Yes or no? Start, Paul. Sorry about that. Let me see what your thoughts are about this, because it's obviously one of those that it's obviously going to be so much happy in there for you. Now, when Sancho apologizes, he'll obviously get back into the team. That is it. He'll obviously get into the team. But if he doesn't apologize, there is no way he's getting back into the first team. Then Gordon Muhwezi, live from Uganda, Western Region. Thank you for watching through from Uganda, Western Region. Dear Lachizoba, I'm sure you are not the Man United fan, because if you are, you can't say this thing. I'm referring to you, Amos. Sancho should apologize. Obviously, what people should know is that we've let player power override all the managers at the club of Manchester United. You know, under Erik ten Hag, under Louis van Gaal it did, under Jose Mourinho it did, under Ralf Rangnick it did, and this time round we shouldn't allow the same mistakes really happen at this club of Manchester United. And the best way to save the club is by obviously not allowing such shit to happen at the club of Manchester United. Then Diala Chizoba, then Kennedy Mpande, let him not apologize so that he's not allowed to play for United again, RD. So for Kennedy, he's obviously telling that Sancho should not apologize and leave the club. That's what he's saying. All right. Then I'm having Vijura Puritna. I don't think that he will come back to play for Manchester United. Why should you keep someone of his behavior. Let him be fined and sold, in that we get players who can play for this team. And by the way, there is a player that Erik ten Hag was interested in. He plays for Utrecht, and that player plays both on the left and right wings. He's still young, and I now know why Ten Hag was interested in him. Maybe he now knows that Sancho has no future at the club of Manchester United, and he believes that if at all he can get like £50 million from Jodan Sancho, sell him off. After selling him off, he can utilize 30 or 40 million pounds of that money to bring in another elite wide forward to obviously get us to where we want to be as a club of Manchester United. So you're right, Jodan Sancho should be sold. For me, I think even if he apologizes, he has always gone at a precedent that has gone ahead to undermine the club, and it's now 3 weeks coming to a month not trying to put in that apology. Christine Nabawanuka, good evening, David. Thank you for your update. Thank you for watching it through, Christine. Opio Ivan, Sancho really needs prayers, Rokani. Maybe he needs to be reset, because what will that apology turn him into? He loses nothing. He needs to apologize, that's all. Let me tell you, Sancho, if apologizes, he will obviously get back to his senses. That is it. If he doesn't apologize, he won't get back to his senses, because he won't get to know that he made a mistake. Do you know why you apologize? It's because you're going to hate to understand that you're going to hate to make a mistake. That is it. But if you don't really get to know that you're going to hate to make a mistake, then you won't apologize always. So Sancho needs to understand that he made a very huge mistake at the club of Manchester United, and he needs to come out and really apologize. That is it. If he doesn't, he needs to be thrown under the bus. But if at all he throws in an apology, he won't really do this stuff again, because he will be like, I did these things again. I was meant to apologize. I need to obviously knock down my ego and obviously get to where I deserve to be, because Erik ten Hag helped him last season when he was really going through shit. He took him to Netherlands. He was rehabilitated. He came back and really played very well, you know. And in the preseason, Sancho was happy, but he has gone ahead to turn out in the Sancho of Borussia Dortmund. Very ugly of the day, and that is stupidity of the highest order that we cannot obviously try to tame at the club of Manchester United. Now, I'm having Dennis Mamoli. Jodan Sancho is a very good player, but laziness is his undoing. And remember, no player is bigger than the manager. That is it. And let me add this, and the club. No player is bigger than the manager and the club. If Ronaldo was thrown under the bus, what the hell is Jodan Sancho? Sancho should test the bitterness of his own medicine. If he apologizes, if not, he leaves the club of Manchester United and he finds where to play his beautiful game of football elsewhere. Good player, but his mentality isn't right. David Zimler, let him ask for forgiveness. You're right. Right. Oscar Arins, Sancho should apologize, obviously. Then Christina Wanuka, Sancho, leave our team, please. Obviously. Now let me end this poll before we go into another story, because I think we've gone ahead to cover everything concerning Jodan Sancho. And obviously, who takes the day? Team Sancho should apologize. I've gone ahead to obviously say yes, and they've gone ahead to put up 84%. They are calling in for Jodan Sancho to obviously apologize to the manager of Manchester United. That is what the power of the club obviously brings, and we need to respect this club of Manchester United, because if we don't respect this club, then things won't obviously happen our way. And these players should know that the manager is their boss, and if you undermine the manager, you've gone ahead to undermine the team of Manchester United. So that is it. Now let's go into this story of the player called what's the name? It's Lisandro Martinez. We all know that Lisandro Martinez never played any part in the game of Burnley over the weekend, and he was really nursing an injury. But after him nursing an injury, looks like he's getting back to where he deserves to be. And Lisandro Martinez has finally gone ahead to push to start for the club of Manchester United. The Standard Sport have told us that Lisandro Martinez is pushing to be involved for Man United versus Crystal Palace tonight. Now, for me, my case is already addressed on this. It's already addressed, because you cannot obviously force your way back if at all the manager doesn't believe that you're really ready to play. That is it. If at all he's ready to play, let him come in through. If at all the assessment shows that he's not ready for him to play, let not him be forced on the field of play. I think we deserve better in taking care of our players. Looks like that metatarsal was not 100% healed, and it has been affecting him ever since he returned. And I think this new head of science department should start from examining why these injuries are really recurring for a player like Lisandro Martinez, and we know he's an aggressive player. So if you're Erik ten Hag, what do? Do you get Lisandro Martinez in today, having missed out on the game of Burnley? Obviously you can, because he's one of the players that really rested in the last 7 games of the season, and he went ahead to have a very long holiday. Then later he returned in the preseason. That is it. So I think it's better you play him. Sorry about that. It's better you play him if at all he's fit. Like you play him for 60 minutes with Rafael Varane, and then you take him off and obviously see that he obviously plays only 45 minutes. Maybe you can even get in Lisandro Martinez to play with Victor Lindelof, and then take off Lisandro Martinez and bring on Rafael Varane to play the remaining 45 minutes, because even Rafael Varane needs some minutes in his legs before we play against Crystal Palace onto the weekend. But obviously for Varane, it's not all that a big deal, because you obviously understand that he obviously comes in through to get you the experience that he wants, and he can obviously play his game off his fitness, provided his fitness levels are really great. His experience will obviously override what he obviously gives you, and you'll be 100% sure that is obviously not going to let the tools down. Now, today we are playing Crystal Palace, and Roy Hodgson, the manager, has the following to say about this game of Manchester United and Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. He says, "We are talking about one of the 2 biggest clubs in the world, so even if they are not operating at full capacity, they still have a bench that costs maybe several hundred million, whereas our bench may contain a few players who haven't played a single PL match." Obviously, he's paying what we call respect to the club of Manchester United, and he's right, because when you look at the injuries that Crystal Palace is really having, it's obviously draws down to lack of quality into their squad, and that has gone ahead to put them into a mold of really facing it rough and not having their players available. So we know that the bench of United is really huge, because this time around we might be having Rashford on the bench, Rasmus Højlund on the bench, which other player? Mason Mount on the bench. You know, huge players are going to be benched by Erik ten Hag today, and he's right on what he's saying. Then he said, "I try to remember a moment in my career in the many games I've played at Old Trafford where I was happy to go all where I say to myself that it was a good time to play them. Old Trafford is a bit of a special place." That is Roy Hodgson. We all know that Old Trafford is a really a special place, but the Glazers are obviously reigning this club because they failed to get us a new stadium, they failed to get us new facilities, and obviously improve everything happening at the club of Manchester United. That is what the Glazers really get you, and you need to obviously get to know what exactly this is all about. So according to what you're having at Manchester United, things are really not going on as planned, but we all know that we need to win this game, and obviously see to it that we make it 2-2. Burnley game was done, pressure reduced on the manager. That's why you see to it that none of the media houses are really talking about the division into the dressing room. You know, that disarray in the dressing room that was being allegedly put up by the media that really never liked Erik ten Hag is nowhere to be seen, because we've gone ahead to win. And the story of Rashford, Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire calling in for Jodan Sancho to obviously come out and apologize has obviously been the last nail in the coffin of those trading rumors that there is what we call disarray into that dressing room. That dressing room is intact. They are backing the manager, and those that put out stories that the players of Manchester United are not okay with how Erik ten Hag is handling the situation with Jodan Sancho are now hiding in their beds. They are under the rock. They cannot obviously come out and obviously tell us exactly what this is all about, because the manager is going to hate to impose himself here and is going to hate to give himself the best that he deserves as a manager, and I really believe that's the best way to go, and no way of looking back. We deserve better, and these players should be getting to where they deserve to be. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I'm having Bijura Prita. Sancho might have realized that he can't raise to the level the coach wants him at, so he sees apologizing as of no use and has decided, to his words, for the team to sell him. All right, if he wants to be sold, I'll be glad that Sancho is sold, because I don't want to be keeping a toxic player into the dressing room of Manchester United. That is it. So I think you guys are really having a fantastic day now. Let me ask you another question. Should Ten Hag start Lisandro Martinez today? We are having just 5 minutes of this, right? 5 minutes only. Let's really respond to that. Do you think Ten Hag should start Lisandro Martinez? Because Lisandro Martinez is pushing to start. But according to me, this game is not so much a hard game for us to win, even without Lisandro Martinez. I don't think that if at all Lisandro Martinez is away, we are going to lose this game. I think we can as well win it without Lisandro Martinez, and I see no reason of obviously getting us into this maze of obviously starting him and obviously getting back to where he deserves to be. I think we should unleash him when you're playing the Premier League over the weekend, right? So it shows you exactly what this is all about. And now let me check the match squad that is going to head to arrive at Manchester United and how these players really came in at the club of Manchester United. And today the game is on, and I want to show you exactly how these players really arrived here. Let me try to create up something here for you such that you guys really see how players have gone ahead to obviously arrive at the club of Manchester United. I want obviously to really phase in very well and show you Amrabat arriving and very many others arriving at the club of Manchester United, because you need to obviously know whether who is in and who is out. But Sofian Amrabat is here. He has gone ahead to arrive at the club of Manchester United. I don't know why Twitter is trying to freeze, but this is Tom Heaton arriving. Harry Maguire, you see him very well. That is Harry Maguire. I don't know what's wrong with the internet, but I would like to be throwing these onto the screen and also see them. They are coming straight from Twitter. That is Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane are really arriving. Maybe they are going to start together. This is Sofian Amrabat. As you see him where the video is not playing. I don't know why the video is not playing, but that is Sofian Amrabat, and I think you can now see him very well. Sofian Amrabat arriving at the club of Manchester United at Old Trafford to obviously take part into the beautiful game of football, and to me, he's going to make his debut, full debut at Manchester United. He had a cameo like of 3-4 minutes as we took on the side of what's the name of that team? As we took on the side of Burnley, and was played as a left back, and that confirms to you what Ten Hag told us about this player, that this player is really talented and is multi-dimensional. He can be played in different positions altogether. He can be played as a right back, he can be played as a left back, he can be played as a central midfielder, as a CDM, a central attacking midfielder, and a number 8. You know, that is him for you. And that is Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane arriving right at the club of Old Trafford. That is Faz on Twitter, who is at Old Trafford. And this is Mason Mount arriving at Old Trafford to face Palace. That is Mason Mount for you, arriving to face the Palace side. So he's really geared up to obviously take it to the next level. That is Mason Mount, a player that we're going to hate to criticize a lot, and we just need him to obviously give us the best of himself, because we the fans only want one thing. We just want to see our players performing well. That is it. If they aren't performing well, then we'll come out and obviously criticize them. So we only want one thing. We want our players to be performing very well. So if you're performing well, we aren't going to criticize you. That is it. But if you don't perform well, then we obviously come in through to criticize you and obviously ask you what are you doing at the club of Manchester United, and why are you earning that huge amount of money at the club? And that's what you're supposed to do as a club. So that is Mason Mount arriving at the club of Manchester United. Who else? This is Marcus Rashford and Anton Martial, as you see them there, arriving at the club of Manchester United to get ready for this fixture of Manchester United and Crystal Palace. So the players are in, they are getting ready to obviously do the needful, and that is it. We are getting live from Old Trafford. The players have gone here to arrive, and we need to obviously give them the respect they deserve and obviously take them to where they deserve to be as these players of Manchester United. Thank you guys for watching through. I think we end the poll now of Lisandro Martinez. Whether he starts or not, I want to see who has gone ahead to say what. Now, I'm having Omos Agbo. My name is Osmos from Libya. Please let Sancho stay put. Okay, if he's to stay, has to apologize and obviously obey with what Erik Ten Hag is what Ten Hag is telling him. David Zimla, yes, let him start. We're talking about Lisandro Martinez. Eugene Mwasame, good evening, RD. Martinez should not be risked. Varane and Maguire, all Evans can get the job done. Yeah, by the way, that's my take too. I don't want to risk this guy because he's really one of the best players we're going to hate to have at Manchester United, and we have no reason to risk him into these games of football that can obviously easily come to pass. Then Diala Shizoba, we need to win the game. Obviously, we are going to win this beautiful game of football today at Old Trafford. Now, we end the poll, and 78% are calling in for Lisandro Martinez to start, and 21 are saying no. So it looks like the vast majority of the fans of United Matters channel want Lisandro Martinez to start. But amongst the players that are going to hate to arrive at Man United, Lisandro Martinez has not been seen. And we've also been told that Donny arrived later than the 30-minute mark. Players are supposed to enter the venue within that 30 minutes of a 4-hour clock. Must have been traffic. Anyways, 20 minutes incoming. That's the big question, but we don't know exactly what is it. And Reguilon is not in today's match squad. That is it. So Reguilon is not in today's match squad, so we don't know who's going to be played as the left back. Maybe Ten Hag is going to get Sofian Amrabat and play him as a right back, and Diego Del is going to be played as a left back. I think that's what Ten Hag is going to do. Right, because he's told us before that Amrabat can be played as a right back and he can obviously thrive into that position very well. And that's why Ten Hag really wanted this player, because of how he can obviously take us to where we deserve to be. So guys, smash the like button close to 60 times, because we're having 6 people watching in through and only 20 have gone ahead to smash the like button. And I'm having Moses Laboni, thanks for the update, man. Then Christina Wanuka, we need him this weekend, obviously. So guys, I sign out for now. The team news is out here on this channel. Thank you everyone who has been part of this channel. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And the Muslims, may Allah grant you whatever you have, whatever